I won't do the traditional greetings and salutations. This is a Dragon Bros video for one reason. Brett Cooper from the Daily Wire. She has really stepped her foot into the biggest pile of monkey dung and elephant piss. It's just just within the videos that she's gone after adults with kid related topics. And I'm just so disheartened with Brett. I'm just so disillusioned with what Brett has done. She may look like this cute little college schoolgirl, but behind that veneer is an evil woman. An evil, heartless woman. You may look at me and go, oh, he's a scarred up wreck of a man going after a little innocent 20 something year old Baywatch wannabe. Think of me like that. Think of me as a monster. Think of me as the beast that will devour the princess. Think of me as the dragon that will swallow up an innocent village woman. Think of me as the warlock that is going to cast a spell on a model perfected woman. No, an airbrushed woman. Think of me as the most nastiest thing doing it to the most beautifulest woman on the planet. Think of me as that. Because I don't give a flying fuck. Brett Cooper is a monster. Just within the video that she made about young adults, literally young adult literature, and this new one, Disney has become a religion. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and been doing a lot of soul searching when it comes to this sort of beastly Barbie doll. Beast on the inside, Barbie doll on the outside. Do the math. Everything what I've seen just with those two videos. She says that young adult literature is for young adults. No, it's not. Brett, literature is for everyone. There, but I do say that there is some literature that is age restricted. But overall, you can have fully grown adults writing fan fiction about My Little Pony, and that sort of literature gets spread out online. She says that like adults or grown-ups playing with, whilst buying toys is stupid. And now with this one, she had a laugh at this woman going to Disney World for the first time. Really, the Daily Wire allows this sort of attitude, allows this sort of think. It may sound like I'm a left wing propagandist who says let drag queens read to let transsexual and drag people read to kids. Hell no. I don't even let. I wouldn't even allow. If I was running a library, I wouldn't allow a heavy metal person to step. A person who adorns the Kiss attire, the attire of Dee Snider and Twisted Sister, or quite a lot of these European heavy metal bands. I would not allow them to step foot into my library. As I would not accept a drag person or a trans person to do a read along for the kids. Because we don't need to force dark, heavy imagery into kids' minds. Same thing as pushing a sexual agenda onto them as well. I literally have some retired teacher to read to them. At least they got the qualifications to educate the kids, and at least they got the qualifications to be presentable and respectful to the parents and to the student and to these young children. But it's just the fact of the matter is, just as in this past video, she had a go at this woman crying at the fact that she is seeing the Disney castle for the first time. It actually got me thinking. Brett Cooper actually doesn't give a crap about certain people. And let me see. What do theme parks, toys, and young adult literature have in common? Besides the fact that toys and theme parks are for families, and young adult literature can be read from an adult to a teenager with reading difficulties. All I'm just seeing from every single one of these comments and these points of view is that Brett Cooper is literally an uber right wing anti-family person, which makes me lose respect for her on a huge scale. Let's take a look at let's look at this thing that she just recently did on people going to theme parks. Though she says Disney has, Disney in the title, but let's look at people been waiting for something their whole lives. For me, it was this. I waited. You see, I became a wrestling fan in 1987. Seen this wrestling championship belt first. Wanted it. My parents couldn't afford it. I waited 20 years to get this. Hey Brett, say hello to my American theme park. Say hello to it. This is Hulk Hogan's 1986 WWF World Heavyweight Championship belt. 20 years I've waited to get this, and I cried when I got it. I had to wait 15 years so I could get my hands on this. A replica of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship belt. Hello, another American amusement park. And that's one thing I am finding that Brett can be, this Brett Cooper woman is such a decrepit monster over. She doesn't care that people wait or have waited longer for years more than she has been alive to receive something, to get something, to be at a certain location. Though she wasn't brought up to appreciate the amusement park, that is a conversation between her and her mum, which I will not get into. But the way she's acting about this one topic, like, I can now get a championship belt, at least one per two to 3 months. I can get a new one in that time frame. But that's just now because I've got to know certain people and they've helped me with different ways of obtaining what I want. But waiting for just those two belts, one for 15 years, one for 20 years, I'm appreciative that I got these belts. I love the fact that I got these belts. But hey, according to Brett Cooper, she says I shouldn't be wasting my time collecting these belts. I shouldn't be wasting my time enjoying the fact that I can live out my childhood dreams of becoming an NWA television champion, reliving my teenage years of becoming an ECW World Heavyweight Champion. And that's what I get from this Brett Cooper is that she doesn't care that people wait for years to get to a point. If saving your money for years and years on end getting jobs that would help you get to that goal, and crying for it. That is true human emotions. That is true. You see, like, it's just that sort of mentality that I can get. I'm getting with Brett Cooper. It's like that she doesn't give a fuck. Literally, to use a common phrase, she doesn't give a fuck. Like a fart in space or a fuck anywhere. When it comes to people waiting for a long time just to be able to appreciate something, seeing like that woman that was on her video on Disney has become a religion. This woman cried, but Brett doesn't want to know the reasons why she cried. Maybe she had a hard, rough childhood, an like abusive parents, abusive grandparents, abusive auntie or an uncle, abusive cousins. She was a part of abusive schooling, education. Having her minister call her a slut, a whore, a prostitute, and to overcome the thoughts of suicide, the thoughts of getting a weapon and killing people, getting over the thought of being that transsexual freak who blew up, who destroyed the school that they were part of. This woman that I've seen, she could have gone through a whole lot just for that one shot of being happy for the first time in her life. Seeing her friends go, just hearing people who went to not just Disney properties but other properties with theme parks, hearing them say, "Oh, I enjoyed going to this theme," and she felt depressed. Years of depression finally done. Have you thought about that, Brett? But no, you haven't. You don't care about that sort of thing, do you? You don't care that people wait. They have to wait decades to be able to appreciate something that they love, that they enjoy, that they want to be a part of. That's one thing I've gone from you. They don't give a shit that people have to suffer from seeing something that they want to getting it. It's just that simple. Another thing that I've come to notice, another aspect of seeing that woman cry, which brings me back to that video that she did about young adult literature. Mental health. Brett, do you know there are adults? There are some adults who enjoy young adult literature. Why? Because they have mental health problems. They may be on the spectrum, or they could be on the spectrum. It's not a maybe, it could be. Don't you think that sort of person exists? Even if they've been to like an amusement park for, then maybe they went to an amusement park once every 2 or 3 years, and it could be they're maybe 8th time, or it could be their 5th time going, but yet they still have this sense of wonder, this sense of awe, and this sense of amazement, seeing, you're seeing like something like like a theme park done with these major studios. Like I've seen over here in Australia, adults who have these mental health or mental or have this or mentally disabled going to a certain location. It doesn't have to be an amusement park. I've seen these people who are mentally disabled, these very people who need help with paying bills, these people who need help with getting the groceries, for the first time getting off a tram, getting off a bus, getting off the train, and looking out out on the location called Circular Quay, looking out and seeing the Opera House to their right, the Sydney Harbour Bridge to their left, and more so again seeing the rocks. I've seen grown people cry. Some of it because of their having mental health problems, or have like a mental health, or being mentally disabled. To see that is to see the true amazement of certain locations. I've been to Bondi Beach, seen the very same people cry for just being at Bondi Beach. I've seen people cry because they heard so much about the Fisher's Ghost Festival, and they get off at Campbelltown at the Fisher's Ghost Festival for the first time. They cry. And most of the time, and some of the times, there doesn't have to be people who are mentally disabled. It is just people who just wanted to be a part of that atmosphere. Like I cry when I go to Circular Quay at times, and I've been there multiple times within the past 3 years, 3 to 4 years to be more precise, because of one event at the Rocks, one event at Circular Quay, another getting closer to the Opera House. But still I cry. The reasons why I cry, and gives me the reason why these other people cry, is because the community, they see different communities came together. But hey, that's another point. But hey, hey, Brett Cooper, she doesn't give a crap about the mentally disabled, or the people who have mental health problems, or people who yet again went through hell just to get to a certain location, and just to enjoy the innocence of it. Hey, Brett, we shouldn't care about them, right? Honestly, should we care about them? From what you've been telling your fans, you're telling them that these sort of people are pedophiles and monsters. this other thing that has been rearing its beautifully ugly head is the fact that she's also calling grandparents and parents of children pedophiles. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to bleep out the word pedophile. I'm calling her out on this bullshit. Adult literature and Lego. These are the points that these came up when I was watching that video. Brett, do you hate my guts? You don't know me, but yet you do hate my guts. Why is that? Brett, I am a person with learning difficulties. To be brutally honest, I have dyslexia, a reading disability. So, you are calling my parents pedophiles for buying young adult literature for me as a teenager, reading or helping me to read the young adult literature, and spending time with me in my bedroom reading the same literature. So, Brett, are my parents pedophiles? Be, be honest, Brett. Be truthful. Come out and say it. Don't hide behind Matt Walsh. Don't hide behind Candace Owens. Don't hide behind any senior at Daily Wire. Be honest with the community. Be honest with people. Are my parents pedophiles? Are they? They helped me to read. And when I was with my grandparents, my dad's folks, are they pedophiles too? Because they were reading with me. Both my parents and my dad's parents were reading with me. By the time I could pick up a book to the time I turned 18. Are they pedophiles? Answer me this, Brett. Are they pedophiles? But hey, according to Brett, my dad's parents and my own parents are twisted pedophilic freaks that wanted to push an agenda on me by reading me books. Brett, with you just saying that adults reading young adult literature is creepy and destructive, what you just did there, you uncaring, heartless monster, I would have called you a bitch. I would lovingly love to call you a bitch. But I don't want to insult the beautiful female canines that are running wild and in people's backyards. I don't want to insult them by bringing you into their namesake. You're far from being a bitch. You're a monster. You're a freak who thinks that parents who read with their children, quite quite a number of us are dyslexics, people who can't read properly. You're calling every single parent of a dyslexic child a pedophile. That is what I get from your video, from that part of the video. Another thing that I get that you don't want to admit, and I don't give a flying fuck if your mum said no to this and the other for you. You don't give a shit about communities. Actually, more or less with the Lego portion of that one video, you don't give a shit about the family units. And let me explain why I say this. I've been a witness to many of my friends growing up, more so when I was under the age of 10. Instead of having a family jigsaw puzzle, my friends and their family, or families plural, since I've been to more than one of these, is a sense of family unity and family bonding. That's what I love about Lego. Instead of being some old-fashioned 1950s family where instead of like that 1950s family where the father goes, "Okay, kids, it's Friday night. It's time for us to try to put together that puzzle." Or, "Let's talk about what happened this week, dear family." Back in the 80s when I was a kid, I seen a lot of my friends and their families build amazing Lego projects. From the grandparents to the parents to the children, or even just the parents and the children themselves. Sometimes an auntie here, an uncle there, a cousin here, a cousin there would help out in this family project. And from what I get with Brett Cooper, is that she doesn't want this sort of the family to bond this way. Lego is not a be all and end all of children's entertainment. It is a family bonding exercise. From Hogwarts Castle from Harry Potter to building an urban setting, to from putting together a bat like the Death Star from Star Wars, to collecting beautiful to literally building beautiful landscapes, going from a medieval European village 1 month to being a Chinese temple another. These are the things that I've seen get built during my time going with my friends back to their places on a Friday afternoon. But hey, Brett Cooper, she doesn't appreciate the family bonding, the friend and family getting together and being unified in this sort of get together. Instead of talking about some pathetic event that happened in the news with nothing to be the facilitator of that interaction between parent and child, instead of just going, yes dad, yes father, I found it difficult learning my 5 times tables, but I was able to do it with the help of my teacher. I've seen my friends grow into mature adults. And guess what? You heartless slapper. They have continued on the tradition of building Lego sets with their kids. This and my friends have literally have kept out of jail. Lego keeping people out of jail. Brett must want people to go to jail. Ooh. Is that the truth, Brett? You don't want this sort of family interaction, that way you can feed into the prison systems. For shame. Another thing that really got my goat, and another reason why she is a monster, she thinks that though she goes, oh, parents buy, like all these adults buying children's toys. I'm like thinking, Brett, have you ever thought of an uncle or an auntie buying something for their niece and nephew? Have you ever thought of a grandparent buying something for their grandchild? Have you ever thought it was the parent buying something for their child? Have you ever thought it was a parent of an attendee to a birthday party? You don't want to think about this. All you want to do is think about adults buying toys and considering them to be pathetic pedophiles or pathetic groomers or pathetic losers. You say you have brothers. What will happen to them, to their children, if they say to you, Auntie Brett, for my birthday, can you get me a Paw Patrol figure? Or for my birthday, can you get me a Transformer action figure? Or Auntie, can you get me a My Little Pony plushie? I bet you after watching this video, she's going to be rethinking that. Rethinking that adults buying toys is stupid. Or even if her brothers say, "Hey sis, my child, like, you know, little Trent, little Trent Cooper. Oh, mate, he loves them toy cars. Or can you on your way to the party? Can you get Trenton some toy cars for me? It's gonna be his birthday present. Just get it for him." Or it could be a Whitney Cooper. If another brother has a daughter and she loves Barbies, will she then proceed of starting to collect a little thing, buy a little Barbie here, buy a little Barbie there, buy a little Barbie there, and put them together as a set for her niece? But yet, she'll be an adult buying toys. Would that make Brett Cooper herself a pedophile? Huh. There's a lot to think about here. She says, on one hand, she says she virtually called my parents pedophiles and called my father's parents pedophiles for reading with me, helping me to read throughout my childhood. He's calling people who have mental disabilities drag grooming freaks. Calling the cosplay community, in one sense, with another video she'd done it on furries, or people who want to dress up as different characters, as entertaining a sexual fetish. Hell no. Look, Brett, I don't give a flying fuck or what your mum taught you, or what your dad taught you, or what your goddamn grandparents taught you. I don't give a flying fuck of what your brothers did to you. Or even your aunties, your uncles, or your goddamn cousins. Let me ask you this question. Let me just ask these questions. Brett, with your mum helping you to read, is your mum a secret lesbian pedophile? Because you on many videos have said that she's pulled you out of school a couple of times, and homeschooled you. Is she a pedophile? Is your mum a lesbian pedophile? For buying books for you, helping you to read those books, helping you to understand the literature. That's what my parents did with me. That's what my grandparents did with me. Now, if your mother is not a pedophile, well, isn't a lesbian pedophile, well then my parents are not pedophiles. Or if your brother, or would your aunties and uncles be pedophiles for buying you toys for Christmases and birthdays? Would your grandparents be pedophiles for buying you chocolate and sweet things and baking you cakes? Those, though the food is not exactly a thing that you made mention of, but still, are they pedophiles? Be open to the internet and say, yep, my auntie is a pedophile because she bought me a doll. You can be honest with us. Or my uncle molested me by giving me a My Little Pony figure. Be open up and say it. Are your elders of your family pedophiles for doing that for you? The way you talk about young adults reading young adult literature, that's what you're saying. You're saying that people who read for their mentally disabled or their learning disabled children, helping them to understand the words that are on the book, are pedophiles. Or people who buy toys for their children or for their nieces and nephews or their grandchildren are pedophiles. You've just you just opened up this whole freaking gate, and I would love to see you try to close it. But the damage has already been done. You've called your mum a pedophile. You called my parents pedophiles. You called your grandparents pedophiles. You called your aunties and uncles pedophiles. All for because of what? They may have bought you a toy here and there. They may have helped you read a book or read a paragraph of some thing that you've seen in the newspaper. Congratulations. You've called a vast majority of your audience and and people that really hate your guts. You've given them more ammunition. Saying that people who want to go, adults who want to go to amusement parks like Disney, you call them you say that there's something wrong with them. How about oh, a parent taking their child to Disney or any sort of amusement park? That's being a pedophile. So millions of parents around the world that can afford to take their children to amusement parks, take their children to see. Again, you are putting your mum in the same category of these parents being pedophiles. For what? Entertaining. Take them for a place that is entertaining. My dad's dad took me to the museum to get an education. More ammunition for your enemy, for your naysayers, Brett. You are calling conservative parents something my parents are, and something both sets of my grandparents are, you're calling every single one of them pedophiles. Hey, parents who are conservatives, you finally made the pedophile club of what Brett Cooper says from the Daily Wire. We might even see a resurgence of Steven Crowder, for fuck's sake. And to be honest with you, I'm seeing the downfall of a man who needs help. But really, let me just finish off with this note. And I'm going to be telling this to Brett herself. Next time you read an article on adults doing this, that, and the other with children's stuff, or alleged children's stuff, think clearly before you make another goddamn video. Because there is a percentage of those numbers who may have a parent wanting their child to be enriched. As in learning the value of money when it comes to those amusement parks. Maybe the parental figure is just trying to help their child to read, with them being able to get through school. Like in kindergarten, like from kindergarten to year 12, helping them to read, helping them to understand things. Or if they buy like a Paw Patrol book, or a Care Bear book, or a My Little Pony book, it doesn't always mean that they want to be interactive with like the characters in the book. Maybe the children are into those bits of media, and the parents are helping them to read by using that media. Hell, my father helped me to read wrestling magazines back when they were popular. It would be like one a week I would get. And as I was reading it, I would read it alongside my dad. From the ages of 7 through the age of 18, 11 years we've had bonding over reading wrestling magazines. But I know you think I was a magazine, it's not exactly teenage literature. There are books. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and even the great works of Edgar Allan Poe in their time and in their period would have been classified as young adult literature. And my parents have helped me read those books. And also, the next time when you read something along the lines of adult Lego sales going through the roof, why don't you just damn well think about parents trying a system of family bonding, or hearing about some other thing with adults dressing up as different characters to attend Comic Con in San Diego or New York City. They're not freaks. They're actually more adult than these snooty nosed people who want to think, oh, let's take a look at this Shiraz, shall we? Drink the Shiraz and they say some utter bullshit. Cosplayers get together because we want to. And we enjoy each other's company, and we exchange the mythologies behind our characters. What's more grown up? Going to a bar and getting freaking slosh faced, drunk off your bloody skull, and try and get home and dying halfway between your front door and the pub's car parking lot, or exchanging mythologies at a place where you think children would enjoy more. I would prefer to go to a convention instead of go to a bar or a pub. And one last thing, Brett, before you ever do any react to these sort of articles or want to do this sort of video again, I challenge you to think: are these people? Do these people have mental handicaps, or are they mentally disabled? Do these people want to build family projects? Are these people educating the young ones? Are they helping them to read? Think clearly before you say a damn thing ever again. Because the next video will not come from me. The next video may come from Candace Owens, your ally.